Mr. Kharat, thank you very much for sparing time for CNBC TV 18. Well, first up, the BRICS summit has one important benefit for the Indian banking sector. Essar Oil has been purchased by Rosneft. Is there any immediate impact for IDBI itself?
Essar Oil, yes, we do have some exposure in Essar Oil, but we need to really get a clarification, rather clarity on how the funds are going to be used by the company. Because most of the funds, I believe, might go to holding company level debts, and some of the debts are in the foreign currency in the foreign countries. So the priority wise, how they are going to prioritize, we need to understand from the promoters. And once that clarity is come, but I'm sure promoters are also willing to reduce at the group level itself some of the debts, so that then, because many of their companies are also actually reeling under the debt. If that is reduced a little bit out of this, because it's a big deal,
yes,
and good chunk of funds are coming, so they will also use some of their these funds for reducing their debt, and I think that if that happens, some relief will come to IDBI also, surely.
Okay. Your exposure to Essar Oil itself is how much?
That must be in some 4 figures.
Okay, so that becomes Trafigura's or Rosneft's debt. To that extent,
it will go out of the group company.
Group company exposure.
Yeah, that is what way I am saying. Okay. How we need to understand how they are going to structure it entirely, because if it is all cash deal and they are going to settle the lenders, it will be a different situation.
Okay.
But if it is only the
transfer
equity is actually taken and then all debts are going to be transferred to new buyers, promoters, then perhaps the situation will be different. Only thing.
But even then, you would have provided for Essar Oil. Was it an NPA at all?
No, it was not.
It was not. So there is no provisioning relief?
No, there is no provisioning relief.
What about Essar Steel? Is there any clarity on whether it makes it easier for you to restructure Essar Steel because the promoters have more money?
No, let me tell you differently here. It is because the steel sector itself has started improving.
Yes.
And during our personal interactions also, what we get to know from all these companies which are in the steel industries, the capacities have started actually increasing. They had come up almost up to 30 to 40% of production capacity. Today they are talking about 70% of production capacity. The EBITDAs has been come to positive stage.
Yes.
Right. So irrespective of this kind of deals, whatever happening in the group companies, and I'm talking in general.
Yes.
I'm seeing this Essar Steel or any other steel company, they do have, this is the right time for them actually. Once the EBITDA is positive, bankers also will get some confidence for doing some restructuring. Recently, Reserve Bank of India also is giving some feelers that apart from S4A, they are talking about sustainable debt can be actually kept as a standard, and unsustainable can be treated as a NPA for long. So that also gives a lot of relief. Then bankers will come forward for a deep restructuring also. So both ways, I'm seeing there will be some good resolution coming to steel industry.
So you expect that a resolution of Essar Steel in some form, S4A or some other form, will happen in this fiscal?
Yeah, it should happen.
Any of the other steel companies also, you think?
Yeah, most of the steel companies, I would not like to speak.
Would be resolved in
it should be resolved
FY17.
because things have started changing in their favor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because what confidence we were not getting, because their EBITDA itself was lost. They were making cash losses, operative losses, everything was there. In that situation, bankers don't get really confidence to restructure, particularly for longer term.
Okay.
Now, I think we can do that.
Okay. Would you say that in FY17, your total quantum of stressed assets, that is NPA plus restructured, will be slightly smaller?
See, it is not, we cannot say it is bottomed out, right? But if you look at the trends, the stress levels have definitely started reducing, and therefore it is reflecting in our results also. If you look at the incremental NPAs, it is sliding down very fast. So in case of IDBI also, it is within control. But once the economic situation is slightly improving, particularly for the core industries, I think we will come out of it. Then once the core industries start moving, I will say it will bottom out.
Okay. Now NIIF has also signed a deal with RIDF, with the Russian sovereign fund.
Yes.
They've already got previous deals with Qatar and other sovereign funds.
Yes.
Is there any indication when the first project will be run? I mean, that will mean fresh loans, fresh capex.
So far there are no indications, but I think NIIF will certainly play a major role, catalytic role for actually turning around this. Today, even today also we need very badly infrastructure.
Yeah.
What experiences we have, particularly lenders, got out of this infrastructure lending. Because of that, a little setback is there. But funds like NIIF, if they come forward, I think we can again get courage to lend for the infrastructure developments.
Okay. Any improvement in power companies because of Uday scheme or some such schemes? Are you noticing any de-stressing?
Our company de-stressing is certainly there. There are still new power projects are coming up, particularly they are coming up in the renewable energy side. We are also lending a lot of power sector. So power sector certainly, particularly after that Uday scheme for DISCOM which is introduced, it has started giving some relief.
Okay.
The impact will actually be seen after a few years.
Okay.
Still there are teething problems going on in that one, but certainly it will help us.
What about capital? You have some plans of QIP and other capital raising. What is the game plan for the current fiscal?
Now see, if you look at the IDBI, we have started actually showing the growth pattern,
Yes.
which was not there for last 12 years. I will take little one minute.
Sure.
Time. Last 12 years, bank was growing less than 5%. Last quarter, June, we have shown 6.5%. So jinx of less than 5% is broken. This quarter, I am expecting a much better. If everything goes well, I may show a double-digit growth also. But definitely in FY17, we are expecting 15 to 16% growth.
Okay.
So that will be 3 times of growth what we have shown during last 12 years. That actually gives creates requirement for the capital.
Okay.
Therefore, our shareholders have already given us permission to raise 8,000 crore of rupees capital. We have planned to raise 6,000 crore of rupees capital during this financial year.
Okay.
We have already appointed merchant bankers. First meeting of the merchant bankers will be actually held very shortly, and we are then going to unveil our plans for capital raising.
Okay. So that will be the 8,000 crore at Friday's closing price is raised as shares.
Yeah.
Then what will the government stake come down to approximately?
See, for government stake, today also government is above 76%.
Yes.
So that will come down, let's say around 6 to 7%, it will come down to 70. But it will definitely not come down to
Closer to 50.
Closer to 50. Yeah.
Okay.
We still have a lot of margin there.
Okay. Is there any progress at all in roping in an investor like IFC or somebody or CDC? These names these people have been interested in the Indian banking space. Should we expect it in this fiscal? Some sale of government stake to these guys?
See, this is, as earlier also I said, and I will maintain that, the government of India definitely has certain plans for the banking reforms.
Yes.
I look at it that IDBI's whatever statements were made in the budget, those were also part of those banking reforms, and the government is seriously thinking about that.
Yes.
There are certain serious investors, as the names which you took. Some people already have actually started due diligence. Some of them have indicated that okay, we are rather interested. And in our script, there is definitely a strength. Everybody sees upside in this in this script. So there is interest from the investors. The intent is also there.
Yes.
The only thing, when it is materializing, like you, I am also curiously waiting.
Okay. What do you expect the MCLRs to go down to? You are at the moment at 9.5?
No, we are at 9.3.
9.3?
Yeah.
Okay. You see it sub 9 in 2016?
This fiscal sub 9 it is not possible. We may go closer to 9.
Okay.
Because this one tranche which is given, actually we still have not transmitted that one, because we are still working on our in our perhaps next ALM we will take call on that one. If one more 25 basis cut comes, then we might go closer to 9 or little bit of sub 9.
Sub 9.
Yeah.
Okay. And you are reasonably confident that in FY17 you will have a double-digit growth.
FY17, yes.
Okay.
I am just waiting for my September results to come out.
Okay.
If I am very closer to double-digit growth, I am sure I will clock 3 times the growth which we have shown during last 12 years.
Okay. Mr. Kharat, on that positive note, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, sir. It is my pleasure always.